Hello everybody, welcome back to Kai Talks NFL, and today I'm going to be telling you the 10 most heartbreaking injuries since I started watching football. And now, this isn't a top 10 list. This is my personal list and just 10 that were really heartbreaking for me. I could be forgetting some. You could put it in the comments and I'll be like, oh yeah, I probably should have added it. But these are just ones that come to mind for me as a 49er fan and just as a fan in general. So, let's get into it. First injury I got is the Nick Chubb injury versus the Steelers. It was a normal game versus the Steelers. Nick Chubb was going for a rush and his leg went away that it definitely shouldn't have, and this was so dang scary to see. It was really, really gross. I advise you not to look at it, but if you want to, you obviously can. This was also just really heartbreaking because we don't know if this affected the rest of Nick Chubb's career. We don't know if he's going to be good ever again because of this injury, and that's why I think this injury itself is one of the most heartbreaking I have ever seen in the NFL. Next, we got the Brock Purdy injury versus the Philadelphia Eagles. This was the NFC Championship game. It was in the first quarter. We were ready to go score because Philly had just scored. Brock Purdy goes to throw, and Hassan Reddick hits him right in his elbow. Man, this sucks because we had a chance at this game. We had a chance to go back to the Super Bowl, and it was cut short because of a damn injury. This was so heartbreaking as a 49er fan. It was just a terrible sight to see. Brock Purdy was balling out all year. He was the 262nd overall pick, the last pick, and to see him go out and ball out, take his team to the NFC Championship, maybe even take his team to the Super Bowl, and to see him just get hurt like that, I just wonder every day, what if he never got injured? And that's why it's so heartbreaking. Next, we got the Damar Hamlin injury. Yeah, this was one of the most scariest injuries I have ever seen in any sport or anywhere. Basically, it was a Sunday night football game. Bengals versus Bills. Everyone was so damn excited. These were two titans at the end of the season, ready to ball out. And then T. Higgins catches a ball. Damar Hamlin makes the tackle. Everything looks okay. He stands back up and he passes out. And now this wasn't a very hard-hitting contact injury. He was just hit at the wrong time, and it was something to do with his heartbeat. You gotta correct me on that. But he passed out, and he was not getting up. The hospital had to come. Everybody was gathering around, and it was the most scariest thing. People were crying, praying, all this stuff, and it was multiple days. A couple days later, everyone was wearing Pray for Damar shirts. It was one of the most wholesome things I have ever seen in the NFL, and when he was okay, it was one of the most relieving things I have ever seen, but therefore, it's one of the most heartbreaking things because it just shows the magnitude of this injury. Next one we got is the Dre Greenlaw Super Bowl Achilles snap. Oh man, this was one of the worst and most heartbreaking injuries I've ever seen as a 49er fan. He was bouncing on the field, getting himself hyped up, ready to go for another drive, and boom, his Achilles snapped. Hearing Fred Warner's reaction after the game, and just as a Niner fan, the result of the game made it even more heartbreaking, especially seeing him leave this year to the Broncos made it even more heartbreaking. And who knows if he played the rest of that game. He could have got a couple of stops in overtime. We don't know what he would have done. Would the outcome be different? One of the biggest what ifs and one of the most heartbreaking injuries I've ever seen as a 49ers fan. Next player we got is the Tank Dell Christmas Day injury. You know, it's Christmas. It's a happy day, right? You're just watching some football. CJ Stroud throws it in the end zone. Tank Dell catches it for a touchdown, and he tore his Achilles. This was one of the most heartbreaking injuries, especially seeing CJ Stroud's reaction. Dude was bawling his eyes out, and just the whole morale of the game was absolutely dropped. Everyone was just praying for Tank Dell. Nobody cared about the outcome at that point. It was one of the most sad injuries I have ever watched, and if I'm correct, he still is not back as of right now, and I'm praying he recovers soon because I want to see him back out on the field again. Next, we got the Brandon Ayuk ACL MCL tear last year. This was horrible as a 49ers fan. He had a slow start at the beginning, hoping it would come back. It was versus the Chiefs. Revenge game, by the way. And he tore basically what felt like everything in his leg and his knee. Oh, dude. Imagine the season he would have had. Imagine how much he would have helped us. It genuinely sucks to see. And right now, he is still out. We're waiting for him to come back. I really hope he returns to 2023, Brandon Aiyuk. Seeing that happen was one of the most heartbreaking as a 49er fan. Next, we got the Odell Beckham Jr. Super Bowl injury. This might have been the thing that shocked his career in terms of performance. Man, this was just sad. He had a great game. It was the Super Bowl. He caught a touchdown. Stafford threw the pass, and he tore his Achilles along the way. This was so damn heartbreaking. He had such a underrated season on the Rams, especially having kind of a sloppy season before, and to see that happen, it was so damn unfortunate and absolutely heartbreaking. I believe it also kept him out for the entirety of the next year. Next, we got the Tua Tagovailoa concussion versus the Bengals. Basically, Tua was ready to throw a pass, and the Bengals defender kind of wrapped him up and almost like slammed him to the ground like that, and he was holding up some really strange kind of hand motions that aren't normal, and that's why this was so scary. And to see him out for a couple of games that it was definitely one of the most heartbreaking and just overall one of the most scary I've seen. Next, we got the Chris Olave concussion, specifically the one last year versus the Panthers. Man, this was scary, especially with the past couple of concussion injuries he's had over the past couple years. Seeing these two Panthers come in, deck him basically, and then he had that concussion and was knocked out. It was a really, really scary thing to see, and overall heartbreaking, knowing that this has happened to him multiple times now, and if it happens again, who knows where his career will lead, and that's why this one was so damn heartbreaking. Next, we got the Chris Godwin injury versus the Ravens last year. So basically, it was the end of the game, 50 seconds left, Buccaneers trying to make a comeback. Chris Godwin caught a first down, and he could not get back up. Not sure what the exact injury was, but people were praying. They stopped the game for a second. They couldn't even replay the injury. That's how bad it was, and it's just really sad to see because it wasn't even worth it. It wasn't worth anything. It was 55 seconds, and to see it happen like that, it was one of the most heartbreaking things I have seen in the NFL. That is also it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, let me know down below. This is also a pre-record. I gotta pre-record videos a day ahead of time. It's kind of just how it's gonna work now. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one.